Taurus, this is your 2018, October 2018 Drunk Tarot reading for the month of October. Let me turn these birds down. Oh my God, we get it, birds. You're magnificent. Okay, so I did a bunch of shuffling. If you guys haven't already noticed, if you've checked out the Cancer and Pisces spread for the month of October, I'm doing something a little different. And some people like it, so it might become a thing. We'll see. What I'm doing is I'm going to be pulling for 4 different scenarios for the sign of Taurus for the month of October. At the end, I'm just going to pull a general love read. So you're either going to resonate with storyline 1, 2, 3, or 4, or you're going to resonate with 1 and 3, or you're going to resonate with all 4. And then some of you guys will or will not resonate with the general love spread at the end. So I'm going to split it up into 4 scenarios, and we're just going to see how it goes, and you can decide which scenario works for you. If none of the 4 general scenarios for the month of October resonates, and the love story at the end of the month doesn't resonate, then I want you to go ahead and click off of the channel, click onto Google, and check and see if you have a pulse, because you might not have a pulse. How's that for sassiness for the month of October? Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I made the Instagram page private, so you do have to request to follow me on Instagram. I will accept you. I accept all. I just prefer to keep it private. So it's drunk.tarot, and that's where you can catch me doing live readings. And I do live chit-chats and readings there. Anyways, and I still don't charge for personal readings because I don't actually do personal readings. I just get in where I fit in and just read how I want to read. So let's get into it. October 2nd is the beginning of Venus retrograde and all that implies. So be aware of that. Let's get into storyline 1. Storyline 1, this is going to be for some Taurus folks out there. Storyline 1. Just going to pull 1 to 3 cards, maybe 1, maybe 3, maybe 2. Just see kind of what happens for this particular grouping out there of Taurus. This may or may not be you. You can timestamp if you feel like it, you guys. Storyline 1, story A, B, C, or D, however you want to label it. Okay, let's go. So some of you guys are dealing with a very, some of you Taurians out there are dealing with an energy that's very immature, very spiteful. Some of you guys could be dealing with someone who might be a fire sign or has fire energy about them. They're typically very creative. They're very, outspoken. They're visionary. They're very gregarious. All of those things. They seem to have their tempestuous side under control. But in the month of October, some of you Taurians out there are going to be dealing with this particular energy in a bad mood. Otherwise, this is your energy. You are usually very creative and very, welcoming. You have a very welcoming warmth. There's a warmth to you. But for some reason in October, some of you guys could just be feeling like you don't have the patience or the energy or the desire to continue discussing a particular topic, to continue on a particular project. You could be not necessarily given up, but being very stubborn about it, which is quite like the bull, the Taurus. If you don't want to do something, you are digging your hooves into the ground and refusing to budge. And in doing so, you guys are actually pissing a lot of people off because you're not seeing their vision or they're not seeing your vision. And so there's a disconnect there. And so basically, to sum it up, without, sounding too, superfluous, you're being a brat, or someone around you is being a brat. And so your patience is being tested. Now, because you want to either save face, save your paycheck, save your job, or save a relationship, either you or someone is choosing to be very patient right now. And it's being tested. But internally, I think you guys are definitely like, this fucking sucks. Something. I don't know what it is. So for some of you Taurians out there, your patience is being tested. You're not, having a good time. You're just not having a good time right now. And so you're trying to step outside of yourself and you're asking, Jesus, take the wheel. You're asking for patience, to have patience, or you're asking someone around you to have patience with you, or someone is being tested. So I think that this is an ongoing issue. So if you're dealing with someone, I think that it's because an issue has not yet been resolved. Something has not been solved. So you Taurians out there are probably thinking that, this again, oh my God, this again, this is never going to go away. Say, for example, you're dating someone who's going through a divorce, or someone who's getting out of a relationship, or someone who's dealing with alimony problems, or whatever the situation is, right? Just when that person is like, baby, 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 please, everything's going to work out, just hang on, you're like, okay, cool. And you're thinking about the future. You're thinking about all the things that can happen in the future. But then something comes up. They get a notification from the court system or whatever. Something comes up and it comes up again. And you're like, oh my God, this again? I thought we were done. And so that's, part of the scenario here is that you just have to ask yourself, how much patience do you have for a particular situation? That was just one example, you guys. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be that. But whatever the case is, you need to ask yourself, how much patience do I actually have for a situation? At some point, I'm going to want to remove myself. But again, you're a Taurus. A Taurus can be so damn comfortable and unwilling to budge that they're actually pretty good just sitting there in the middle of the field, not doing anything, and just letting this issue aggravate them for a second like a gnat. You wave it away and you just keep on keeping on. That's some of you guys. If that's how you want to live your life, no judgment. Just kidding. But you know what I mean? So that's you for this particular Taurian story. So if you're dealing with that, it's just an issue keeps coming up, keeps, bothering you, annoying you. You keep having to have patience for it. And it keeps, you're forever like in a good mood moving forward. And then something happens. In a good mood moving forward. And then something happens. So that's it seems like a cycle that you're in for this particular Taurus. Okay. That's storyline A. Let's move on to storyline B. If that was you, if that didn't feel like it was you, check storyline B, C, or D. What's going on for this Taurus? This group of Taurians. I think it's Taurians. It's the first day of fall today, you guys. So make sure you run out and sit in that 10-minute Starbucks line in the drive-thru so you can get your stupid pumpkin spice latte. Da, 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 da. Taurus. I have a storyline for Taurus. Okay, so for this group of Taurians, it looks like you guys are in a place where you're appropriating all of the tools, all the skills, all of the experiences and resources that you have handy, and you're trying to make something happen. So we don't know what that is. You're trying to make a relationship happen. You're trying to make a job happen, a family gathering, some sort of event. You're trying to make something happen. It could be as little as you deciding you want to start cooking more at home. So you're deciding to, spend a little money at, Bed Bath & Beyond and get the items you need and get that really good stainless steel pot that you've been looking for, and just getting everything organized so that you can actually create and do something that makes you happy without having to ask permission. That's what I'm getting for this Taurus group. Some of you guys really do want to either be your own boss or lead your own project or create something. Some of you guys are trying to also maybe take the next step in a relationship or in a work environment. When I say relationship, it doesn't necessarily mean romantic. It could just be anything that you have your heart set on doing. You want to make that happen. You want to make it happen quickly. and on your terms, the Magician card. Some of you guys are trying to make something happen and you're almost feeling like you've taken crazy pills. So some of you guys could be dealing with feeling out of sorts, feeling like you're either really, really exhausted, mentally drained, like you've taken on too much perhaps. I also think that some of you guys could be, maybe if you have a partnership happening, you're in some sort of group setting, if you're not in charge, whoever's in charge actually is so all over the grid that some of you guys are feeling that like that person might actually have mental instability, because that's what you get with the Nine of Wands in reverse. It does indicate some sort of mental instability. I'm prone to believe it's anxiety, but I know that it's not a swords card, but I feel like it's anxiety. Nervousness, anxiety, even though you're about to take not a leap of faith because you know you have the skills necessary to pull something off. I know this seems very general, and right now it is, because I'm just feeling like this is a situation where you're about to make a leap, you're about to do something, pull the trigger, you know what you have to do to make something happen. You already know the steps, you already have the strategy in mind, you know that you yourself can do it, but that's leaving you feeling like you're mentally unprepared or physically or emotionally, all those energies ill-prepared. So maybe you could be experiencing a feeling of, I need to take my anti-anxiety pills, or you're dealing with someone who's making you feel anxious, or you're actually having to work with someone on something and they themselves are actually, I would say mentally unstable. Whatever you decide to do, however you proceed with this project or this relationship, or, just you saying, do I have enough money? Is that machine going to decline me when I run up, this, $250 Bed Bath & Beyond IKEA thing because I want to start this project I don't want to start? It's going to work out. The Justice card is right side up, and it's saying that whatever you choose to manifest, yes, it's going to make you feel drained, feel exhausted, feel insecure. It's going to make you feel all these things. But in the end, the outcome is going to be in your favor. You will win. So don't worry, is what this whole scenario is saying. And apply that to your life however you want to. If it is a relationship, then, it's going to turn out okay. If it's anything else, it's going to turn out okay. Let's move on to storyline C, storyline 3, or C, whichever you prefer. If you're a numbers person or a letters person, doesn't matter. What's going on for this particular group of Taurus, Taurian energy for the month of October 2018? What's going on for this group of Taurians for the month of October 2018? Also, side note, you guys, remember that tarot card readings are not telling you the future. They're not telling you what to do. You have free will. So however you bend and move and, juck and jive and, when you dip, he dip, we dip, all that. However you proceed, that changes. That changes what, was initially, seen. So use these as a guide, as a guidepost to help you navigate, because you already know what you have to do. You already know what you need to do. These just confirm. Just think of these as confirmation cards, not fortune-telling cards, because that's ridiculous. Storyline 3, storyline C. This is what's coming through for this group of particular Taurus. Is this you? Let's find out. For this group of Taurus, the third group of Taurians, if this is you, you could be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. It doesn't matter. Just someone who is has like sort of the mental acumen to direct a story or direct a narrative with you verbally, very directly. So in other words, this is trying to say that either you yourself have taken on the qualities of the Queen of Swords, you yourself for the month of October, you're seeking the truth, You're expecting the truth. You're determined to get the truth. Now, to get to the Queen of Swords, you will have already had to try various other techniques, like a Page of Pentacles technique or Page of Swords technique. Or maybe, you know, a Two of Swords technique. You will have already experienced all these other cards, right? By the time you get to the Queen of Swords, you're like, okay, boo, you're testing my patience. You're testing my patience by the time you get here. The Queen of Swords energy is that of you saying, look, I've asked you 3 times. I've asked you in this way. I've spoken to you in this way. We've had this conversation. Also, so by the time you get to the Queen of Swords energy, you're getting close. You're getting close to feeling like, look, my patience is wearing thin, so I'm going to ask you one more time. And that's the energy here. By the time you reach the Queen of Swords, you're going to have a sit down with someone in October. You're going to have a direct conversation, a face-to-face conversation. You are going to experience a definite, I think, shift in your goal for this conversation, if that makes any sense. You guys could be already knowing something for the month of October. And in knowing something, you're determined to get confirmation from the other person that what you believe to be true is actually true. So while it's not the scariest of energies out there, you're definitely at a new place in October. So let's see who you're dealing with or what the situation is. And also, you've arrived emotionally. You've arrived at a place right now where you're not looking for confrontation, don't get me wrong, but you are prepared to hear the truth. I think you're prepared to hear the reality of a situation. And whether you are prepared to receive it and accept it is different from from actually hearing it. So does that make sense? Okay. Look, it has to do with, some of you guys are dealing with a Gemini. But for the most part, what I'm seeing is that there is a serious conversation that needs to be had with a lover or with a close partnership if this is not a love reading. If you work with someone on a regular basis or you have a close partnership with a friend, a colleague, it could even be a family member, it doesn't matter. You have a daily ongoing conversation or daily ongoing experience as the other half of some situation, right? There is a conversation that needs to happen between the two of you guys because this is an intimate relationship where you guys know how to push the other person's buttons. And so maybe you're at a point where this conversation, I don't know what it's about or anything. Let's pull one more card. So it seems to me that you guys, somewhere along the way, stopped sharing the same vision. You guys stopped agreeing on something. And so now either you or the other person is looking to not sever ties, but just have the conversation where you're like, look, I want to go down this path. The other person's like, I want to go down this path. So that kind of communication is necessary. You guys come to a common place and we'll see what happens from there. But this is just your general vibe for this particular group in October. There could be, 3 kids involved. There's definitely, or the other thing too is that, you or someone else has to be honest. Someone lost interest. It's as simple as that. And I guess my advice is that to always remain attractive to the other person, whether it's a boss or a lover, to always remain attractive is to walk away with integrity and honesty and without drama. That's the best advice I could give for this reading right here. If you have lost interest in a certain scenario, whether it's work, love, whatever, you will gain so much more respect and admiration if you say, I'm no longer interested. This situation doesn't suit me anymore. I want to go down a different path. Boom. That's fucking adulting 101. So when you do that, Taurus, you're going to be able to walk away and still not have a burned bridge. And yet you'll still be able, that avenue is always there in case you cross paths again. It's not like you guys don't have to like be weird. And then of course, vice versa. If someone comes to you and they say, look, I have, someone might be approaching you in the month of October and they might say, it doesn't work out for me. I want to focus on my kids, or I want to focus on whatever, and it's not working for me anymore. And you notice that the Lovers is not in reverse, so there is still love there. So I think it's outside circumstances that's affecting this. It's not the actual chemistry that you guys have. It's outside circumstances. Okay, so that's it for scenario C or 3, whatever you want to call it. Let's move on to scenario D or 4. Scenario D or 4 for the month of October. Scenario D or scenario 4 for the month of October. What can they expect? For the month of October, what can they expect? And then we'll get to the general love for all Taurians for the month of October and see if that resonates with anyone. And that will be mostly what's coming towards you. Okay, but this is the 4th general storyline, general scenario for the month of October 2018 for Taurus. This particular group of Taurus. Let's see what they have to say. Wow, there he is again. If you were the other person in that last scenario, this could be you. So you have decided. You've lost interest in a situation. There's a deactivation here. There's a lack of long-term vision. You might have been hot and heavy with someone, and there was maybe a little bit of get up and go and potential with a particular situation. But for the month of October, you kind of, the needle scratches the record and you're like, wait a minute, I don't actually think this thing has legs. I don't think that I can go any further beyond this point. This is as far as I can go. Some of you guys could be feeling stuck. Like, I for some reason, I just thought of stuck on an island. Some of you guys could be feeling stuck. There's no movement forward. And so, be careful of that sensation, because that could easily lead to like a 9 of Swords or some sort of depression, or, 8 of Swords even, where you feel like I'm stuck. I can't make any movements. And it's only energetically, physically, you're not happy with some sort of surrounding around you. So you need to recognize where those obstacles are, and then you can eventually, overcome those obstacles, right? So some of you guys are feeling very like a stagnant, loss of interest. Page of Pentacles. So some of you guys were maybe dealing with a very immature beginning stages of a partnership or relationship or something. Or you were in some sort of scenario where the initial offering was already not to your standards. You already saw that initial offering was not to your standards, and now it's even less. If you were like, I didn't think the standards could get any fucking lower. Well, guess what, trick? Just kidding. But guess what? They did. They can and they will and they did. They can and they did and they will and they do. You know what I mean? Because now it's in reverse. So, and it's also like, it could be someone just taking back. It's like, and I know this sucks, but this is not specific to love, but I keep using love scenarios. If this is a love relationship, it's like someone said, I love you. Oh, that Michael Bolton song from the 80s, you guys, from the 90s or the 80s. I said I loved you, but I lied. So it could feel as if this person said some shit to you, made you feel good, and it's all of a sudden they took it away. They decided like they don't feel that way. Just like that. Or you. Okay, flip it around, you guys, however you have to. But definitely someone made some sort of mini, immature, sweet gesture. It could have been a job, like, oh, if you come on board as a part-timer, I'll give you full-time. They're going to give you no fucking full-time. You know what I mean? So it's like that, or it could just be like some of you guys are dealing with a younger earth sign. Either way, whatever the situation is, I'll speak directly to this particular group of Taurus. If you're in a situation that feels stagnant, that feels like it's going nowhere, these cards are telling you you're absolutely right. This is going nowhere. This is a waste of your time. This has no long-term potential. Boom. That's what the cards mean. And so what happens now is that you need to stand your ground. You're fighting to preserve something, but I don't know what. You're fighting to preserve something. It seems like there is a competitive atmosphere for either your attention or somebody else is competing for, someone else's attention that you had. And you're fighting to keep that attention, or you're fighting to keep your place. It's a struggle. I'm looking for my chapstick. It's a struggle, you guys. Because as much as you do, and I'm going to pull some more cards for this particular scenario, because as much as you recognize that it doesn't really have any long-term potential, and what's being offered is not actually, it's not an ace. It's not an ace of pentacles. It's a page in reverse. So what's being offered to you guys, sorry, I had to put chapstick on. What's being offered to you guys isn't that great, but for some reason, because, you're a Taurus and you're stubborn and it'll take your house being set on fire during an 8.0 earthquake for you to get out of bed in the morning sometimes. So because of all that, you're like, I'm not budging. I'm just going to, this will all pass. Well, if this has to do with business, if it has to do with money, it's almost as if you're like, let's say you're sharing an apartment with someone or sharing a house with someone, and like the lease is up, and you're like, well, they're going to have to put me out of this house before I leave. And they very well will. Whoever's in charge, whatever you're dealing with. If you get booted out of the house or kicked out of the house with nowhere to go, that's your own fault, because you have this time to prepare for that. Just be aware. Some of you guys could be trying very hard to not get kicked out of a job. Like, the computers can't replace me. Oh, yes, they can. Technology is here, friends. Artificial intelligence is here. So you need to adapt. You need to grow and adapt. And I think there's a refusal there to do that. And so you're struggling with that because you have no choice. The Five of Pentacles here is saying you have no choice. You're going to get, booted out of a system, job, relationship, whatever institution you're involved in right now, you will be booted out. And I think you're well aware of that. And so you're struggling because you're trying to hold on to your place. Your best bet is to pack up and make things happen on your own. Okay? So that's it for the scenario 4. Now I'm going to pull just a quick lineup for your general love. So what's coming through for Taurus in love? What's coming through for Taurus in love? All Taurus, all scenarios, all love. What can they expect for love if they're single and looking for love in October? No whammies, no whammies. Let's see what's good in the Taurus hood. Current situation, you guys are having a difficult time letting something go. You're refusing to allow change to happen. You're refusing to go out with the old and with the new. Some of you guys are, you're so stubborn. You're just refusing to let something go. If a relationship is over, that person feels it, you feel it, let it go. Let it go and move on to a new relationship, a new love life. Obviously, you can't move directly into a new love life. You need to let go so you can have that recovery gap, that recovery period, and then new love will come in. Let go and let new love flow. Okay? That's the current situation. There is something brand new starting. It's very aggressive, dominant, energetic, high octane, high activity energy coming through. That's in the environment. So here's the thing. With the death card in reverse, there's like a bubble surrounding you. And this is knocking on the bubble's door. Like, I'm trying to get in, but it can't get in because you're still holding on to something from the past. So it's going to cause an issue. So your fear is that you don't have... Your fear is that you don't have the kind of patience that you had before. Like, I think that you don't want to start something brand new. I think you're like, I don't want to sit down on a date and be like, my favorite color is blue. I love Chinese food. Have you seen that show on Netflix? Yeah, I like that show too. Oh my God, I love Top Ramen. You don't want to fucking do that again. And so you're questioning, your fear is that you just don't have the patience. Like, some of you guys might be feeling like, I'm getting too old. I'm getting older. I don't have time to date. I don't want to date. I don't have time to get to know someone new. So you're being very stubborn and you want to keep an old thing just because you're afraid to start a new thing, even though the Ace of Wands in your environment is saying there's a new thing coming for you. So just, go for it. But you have a fear that you just don't have the patience to start again, to get comfortable again. I don't want to get comfortable again. I'm not going to be able to fart in front of this person. I used to be able to fart in front of that person. You need to go date someone new. And then you can be able to fart in front of that person eventually. Not on the first date. See, what we know to be true right now, you guys are still in a space of regret and mourning the loss of something. You're still regretting what went wrong in the relationship. You're playing it over and over in your head. Why did this go wrong in the relationship? And why couldn't that work out in the relationship? And why wasn't this that way in the relationship? Blah, 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 blah. You guys, let it go. Because if you pay attention, that Ace of Wands, you've got the Two of Cups right behind you. Something good is coming for you guys. Something good is coming for you guys. I'm going to say it one more time. Something good is coming for you guys in love. Stop crying about spilled milk, about an old relationship. Stop telling yourself that you're too old to start again, that you can't begin anew, that you can't spend time to get to know someone new, or you don't want to have to get to know yourself or re-say the same sort of first date. Shut up. Ace of Wands and the Five of Cups are telling you that if you just snap out of it, if you just allow yourself to turn around, everything, okay? Turn around, bright eyes. Turn around. Right there, you've got brand new love coming in for you. I promise. You cannot get to, why? What do you want these cups to come to life and then go show up at the front of you and say, hey, we're here? No. You have to do the work, the hard work of turning around. It is a water sign coming towards you. If it's not a water sign coming towards you, just know that there are secrets being hidden. There's things about yourself you still haven't discovered yet. So as much as you say, I don't have time to get to, I've already dated and no, you're still a baby. I don't care if you're 58 years old, you're still a baby. You're still a baby. So you're still learning lessons, you're still regrouping. It never works out between me and so what? You keep saying it never works out between me and so, and then you refuse to turn around and accept love because all you want to do is talk about or think about or be about your ex. So what's coming towards you is a possibility of a Pisces, but forget about the sign. Don't worry about that. What's actually coming towards you is a revelation. Things are still hidden about who you are in relationships and love. Things are still being hidden about what might have happened in the past. But don't focus on the past, focus on the future. So what you're going to do is turn around. You're going to dry your eyes. You're going to say, I'm ready to move forward. What lesson do I still have to learn about myself? And don't put it in the comments, I'm so sick and tired of learning lessons. I've learned all my, what can I possibly learn? Bah, bah, bah. Then you ain't ready. Shush up then. You're not ready to learn. If you're one of the Taurus out there who's like, I'm ready to learn. Universe, please hand me my ass and teach me a lesson. That's the strongest kind of person you can be. Yep. You are well on your way. You're going to meet someone while you're either on a road trip or traveling, whether it's on business or, pleasure or business. It's not a long, what is it called? Long distance trip. It's a short distance trip. But if an opportunity arises in October for you to hop in the car or hop on a train and go somewhere short distance, maybe for a weekend, maybe for 2 or 3 days, go. Do not hesitate. Go on this trip. On this trip, you're going to either meet someone or you're going to begin aligning yourself with, the other person or the other half or another paralleled narrative that you're supposed to be a part of that takes you to your happy place. Alternatively, be on the lookout. I don't know what your life is, Taurus, but this person, the Chariot, is the best looking guy in the deck. Guy or girl, whatever you're into. This person is athletic. This person has broad shoulders. They have a jawline for days. They've got a really strong jawline. They've got really, clear, youthful skin. So even if they're in their late, 50s or, whatever, for some reason, it's just like their skin's really supple. They're determined. They have very clear eyes. So just be aware of who this person is coming through. And the Chariot is also a Cancer sign of Cancer. So it could be a Pisces or a Cancer coming towards you. Either way, like I said before, it is a water sign coming towards you. You or this person are just not going to have sex right away, which is going to be a tragedy. Just kidding. But there's going to be... it could go from like, what concerns me is that this person teases you too much. Honestly, like the perfect term is just a tease. This person might be a tease. So they may make you believe that they're interested in you sexually, but then they pull away, but they flirt, but they pull away. And it's up to you how you deal with it. I don't know if it's going to be for the whole month of October or that first time when you meet or whatever. I'm not saying you're going to meet this person in October, but the Chariot card is saying that you're on your path to meet someone. Either way, there is flirtatious energy. It is playful energy. It quickly you guys can't see. It can quickly turn from playful, mischievous energy to annoying. Put it that way. Where they hit you up and you're just like, you know what? I'm tired of playing with you. Either fucking ask me out or don't. Like, these games are stupid. Like, it could go to that. So be aware of that. Okay, you guys? That is a love reading for all Taurus for the month of October. Good luck to all of you guys. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, drunk.tarot, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye!